Okay, so in this video, I'm going to give you a step-by-step foolproof guide on how to make friends in your 20s. So none of you are going to be lonely in 2026, not if I can watch it, not if I can help it, not on my watch, okay? So this video will be divided into chapters and there'll be timestamps, so don't feel obliged to watch the entire thing. You can skip through each section as needed, depending on where you are or which stage of life you're in. So grab a drink, grab a bite, and let's dive right into it. So why should you listen to a random Asian Australian dude with braces on the internet telling you in a badly made Canva PowerPoint presentation how to make friends? Well, 10, 12 years ago, when I was a kid, I used to be this socially awkward and severely introverted person. I had difficulty looking at people in the eye, and I genuinely thought I was going to die alone, that I was incapable of making friends and that there was something wrong with me. So I went on a journey of self-improvement, learned a lot of social skills, changed my entire life and my entire personality, and now I dance with random strangers every single week and I make friends everywhere I travel. This isn't to say, oh, look at me, I have so many friends. No, not by any means. But rather to show you that if you just have faith in yourself, if you just back yourself to a certain point, you can do whatever you want, and it's just a matter of time. So the very first thing I want to tell you is this: it is not your fault. There is nothing wrong with you. You may have been born neurodivergent, you may have trouble reading social expressions, facial expressions, you may be socially introverted, you may be anxious, and nobody taught you how to socialize in this incredibly confusing world. Nobody ever taught you how to make friends. And with the rise of AI and fake connections, it's even harder and harder to build genuine connections. So it's not your fault, okay? There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. Watch this guide and it will change your entire social life. Who is this video for? So this video is perfect for you if you are neurodivergent. Let's say if you have great difficulty reading facial expressions whenever you talk to people, and I have resources at the end of the video to help you with things like that. If you have zero social skills, if you're severely introverted, which used to be me, so I could not look at people in the eye, and I was so scared of even saying, excuse me, can I go through, whenever someone was blocking my way. That's how terrible I was. I had zero social skills. I was basically hopeless. I literally genuinely thought I was gonna have no friends in my entire life. And I ended up moving schools multiple times, and I had to build up a social network, and now I can do it wherever I go. So it is a skill set. It will pay in dividends if you know how to use it. If you are going to move cities and countries, this video will also be helpful for you, where you don't know anybody. And if your friends are doing their own thing, or if you've just broken off from a friendship group for whatever reason, this video is going to be perfect for you. So at this point, I wouldn't be mad even if you click away from this video to watch either of these three people that are on the screen. So the first person is Charisma on Command. Charlie, you are a G, my guy. So without him, I would not be where I am today. So he taught me a lot about charisma, confidence, how to build confidence, how to talk to people, how to make friends, everything else. So a lot of his advice still applies nowadays. And the next one is Vanessa Van Edwards. She's a legend when it comes to behaviors, non-verbal behaviors, cues. She'll teach you how to read facial expressions and how to express certain facial expressions that makes you charismatic. So charisma is basically warmth and competence. If you lack either of these two things, you will not be perceived as charismatic. And the third person is a local Australian. He is Vin. I'm not even going to pronounce his last name. He is a master communicator, communication coach. He will teach you how to communicate in many different fields and situations and contexts. And yeah, these three people changed my entire outlook and life. So if I can get you to watch at least one of these three people, my job here is done. The very first thing I want to emphasize in this video is always aim for quality over quantity. So you only need to have 1 to 2 friends that you really enjoy spending time with, that you can call at 11 p.m. at night to ask for their advice, rather than have 100 friends in every party you go to and feel dreadful and lonely. That's not what you want. When it comes to social life, social skills and friendships, quality beats quantity by a huge margin. Okay, 1 to 2 close friends is all you need, and 1 to even 3 people, three friends can be a good group. They can change your life and makes it much more bearable to go through this life. The next thing I want to tell you is being alone doesn't necessarily mean lonely. Okay, I'm an introvert. I love being alone, but I hate being lonely. This is going to go against a lot of the advice I'm going to give in this video, but I feel that it's important that I say it now because it's mindset. And as cliche as it is to start with, oh, you know, it's all about mindsets, this is something I really have to put it out. You have to be okay with spending time by yourself. You have to be okay with spending time alone. Why? Because you're not going to be able to have friends 24/7, and it's also suffocating to have people to talk to 24/7. You need time to rest and recharge. And to do that, you need to come from a place of abundance. Not abundance as in options, like, oh, if he doesn't like me, I can just talk to another person. No, I don't mean that way. What I mean is abundance of love, abundance of joy to give out. And to do that, you need to love yourself first. Now, don't get cute. What do I mean by this? You need to have a decent amount of self-worth, a decent level of self-worth. You need to feel that you are totally worthy by yourself and that there is nothing wrong with you. Or even if there is, that it is okay because you're actively working towards resolving that. Okay? So that's why this video will be mainly divided into 2 parts. The first part will teach you how to have self-worth and how to love spending time by yourself. And the second part will give you tactics and strategies on how to make friends. Okay, so the internet, the memes do not lie when they say go and touch grass, because it really works. Okay, there are a lot of scientific explanations on why spending time in the nature absolutely refreshes your mind and resets your beliefs and your thoughts, and they really do. When you spend some time in a forest, in a hike, by a lake, I don't know, whatever it is, it feels great. It feels refreshing. I think human beings are meant to spend more time in the wilderness and with the nature rather than in concrete jungles and buildings and office cubicles. Okay? And this is the important thing. You need to do these alone. Only when you know how to do, only after doing these things alone, then you can invite other people. I'm not saying you can't invite other people. You can if you want to. But if you know how to do these things alone, it will build your confidence even more and make you a much better person and equip you with more skills and tell you that it is okay for you to be alone and there is nothing wrong with it. And sometimes you need to embrace being alone. Only by loving yourself, you can share the love with other people. So go on a hike, take yourself out on dates, go to the gym, start on a self-improvement journey. You can read books, you can go to the library, you can spend some time at the beach if you live near a beach. Whatever it is, do these things alone and do that over and over and over again. And you realize that even if you end up with nobody in this world, but you're not, trust me, you won't. But even if worst case scenario, that it is okay. Because you yourself are worth it. You yourself are enough. Never ever force friendships. It is much better to be alone than to be with someone that you absolutely hate or you don't vibe with, whose values and goals don't necessarily vibe with yours. Okay? Think of yourself as a truth seeker. When you're talking to someone that starts from a simple hello, you are essentially filtering them. Okay? They are, they're filtering you as much as you are filtering them. You're polarizing them, okay? What's the point of being fake and repressing your true self when you're just gonna end up in the loneliness chasm by yourself, okay? You need to keep filtering people and you need to let them filter you. Rejection is actually good because you will not end up making friends with everybody, and it's exhausting as well. Okay. So there's some places that you can meet people. I've made some lifelong friends from schools and universities. You know, being in Australia is very notorious for cliques. Unfortunately, if you are a foreigner, if you're an outsider, if you're an immigrant, I find that it's harder to make friends if you haven't gone through school here. Luckily, I went through a couple of years of high school, which have provided me with some opportunities to build some lifelong friendships. But at the same time, I'm also trying to expand my social circle, so I'm using it as a challenge as much as you guys are. You can also meet people in monasteries or churches if you're a religious person. You can meet people online, video games. A close friend of mine found their lifelong partners through Twitch streaming, so these things exist as well. And you can join clubs. Boomer humor. Running clubs are a good way to meet new people, especially if you're into fitness. You know, new year, new me, everyone's trying to improve themselves, their bodies, their fitness. Rock climbing gyms are also another good avenue. I know a couple of friends who found friends and partners that way. Dancing is a great way. It also breaks touch barrier, so it opens the venues for lots of other fun things that you can do. You can meet people outside of dance and do activities together. You know, go on picnics, go on shopping. You can join book clubs. Book clubs are also another good method. And you can travel. Of course, all these are going to be different depending on where you live, but if you live in a decently sized city, so anywhere from, let's say, 500,000 people to 1 million, there should be a good club and a good community where you can join and meet new people. Some of these clubs are going to be harder to meet people than others. For example, run clubs, pretty much the run clubs I have been in, you only start out with, you start out by waiting for other people to join, to show up before you go on a run, and you have some time to talk. And unless you're really fast, it just makes it a bit harder to build connections. For me, I try to run at least 10 kilometers every week, once a week, but it's hard because I don't run, I'm not as fast as other people, I'm not as quick. So whenever I run, I go, hey man, how are you going? All right, you go on ahead. Things like rock climbing, yeah, I've seen some people make friends, but dance clubs will always be the GOAT because you can join classes and you get to talk to people during the class, after the class, before the class. And there's a common thing that brings you both together, or brings you and other people together. And as it goes without saying, the more extroverted you are, the more outgoing you are, the easier it is to build connections, make friendships, and build relationships. Don't ask me how or why. It's just common sense. When you're open to meeting new people, when you're a friendly, likable person, chances are the more people will want to spend time hanging out with you. It just makes it a lot easier to meet connections. And this is to my fellow introverts and socially awkward people out there. At some point, you have to take the jump and you have to actually do it and start talking to people. Okay, now I want to touch on a little bit on some of the beliefs or overthinking thoughts that you might be having. So when I first started, I was like, before I started going to communities and making new friends, I kept saying to myself, okay, I need to become charismatic first. I need to become attractive first. I need to have a strong masculine voice. I need to be charming. I need to be all these things, blah blah blah, to make friends. Absolutely not. These things definitely help, makes it a lot easier. But the fundamentals matter a lot more. Think of 80-20%, okay? You need to have a good hygiene. You need to shower, okay? Shower regularly. You don't even have to have a good fashion sense. As long as you don't look like a complete bum, that's fine. Also, another thing that you can easily gain points on, your breath, okay? Grab some Mentoses or gums on your way out before meeting with anyone. Okay, and it's a game changer. Okay, bad breath does not help anybody. Of course, it's a little bit different when you're at a Muay Thai gym or you're talking to people at the gym. It's completely different. Context absolutely matter, but most of the time, have good hygiene, have good breath, and the final most important thing, smile. You need to let your guard down and actually smile. Smile. Make sure it's a genuine, authentic smile, not a fake smile. These 3 things are sometimes all you need to make friends, my friend. How do I know this? Over 12 years of trial and error and experience. Now, I want to go through a little bit on this unfortunate fact that more and more people, especially young guys, because of the internet, because they've never been shown the right way to approach people. Maybe it's from spending time in echo chambers, but a lot of the guys in the world, especially in Western countries, are scared of being seen as creeps. So when you're trying to make friends, and when you're trying to talk to anyone in particular, and the thing is, if you're watching this video and if you're concerned about being seen as a creep, chances are that you are probably not a creep. Okay, the people that belong in behind the bars, they're not you. Okay, they wouldn't care about being seen as a creep. So I can tell you that you're not a creep. Okay, but even let's say if your social skills are stunted and you've gotten in trouble before a couple times for quote-unquote creepy behaviors that may or may not be true, it's a very easy fix. Everything is a set of behaviors, so all the words, all the names, all the terms that are given to us is a result of the behaviors we do. Someone is a surgeon because he has done thousands of cutting operations. Someone's an athlete because they have practiced going on runs 3 times a week. Okay, someone's a gym rat because they go to the gym 4 or 5 times a week. Okay, so it's a set of behaviors. So the simple solution is don't do creepy behaviors. This is just an example, one big example. When you smile, there is a big difference between smiling like this, hello, what's up, and smiling like this, hey, how's it going? One is a completely fake, inauthentic smile. It's a creepy smile because we just feel uncomfortable when we see that. The other one is actually authentic, genuine. You see your wrinkles, you see your eye thrown up, going up like that. And the thing is, you may not know that you're doing some of these things if no one's ever taught you. And you may have had bad experiences interacting with other people, but that's okay. You can learn, you can read books, and you can watch videos on how to help with that sort of thing. On the other side of thing, charisma, again, warmth and competence, but also charismatic is doing a set of behaviors that displays and expresses your warmth, that expresses your likability to other people. Easy ways you can get points. Smile. Literally, this is like a cheat code. I don't know why not many people are doing it. Maybe some of them are insecure, maybe some of them just don't like smiling, or maybe some of them are just socially awkward, but people rarely smile, okay? Or at least the people that I find have trouble making friends, meeting other people, they don't smile. Smiling's like the best thing you can do to someone. It lowers your guard, lowers down their guard, makes you more approachable. Maintain eye contact when talking to another person. If you're talking to someone and you're constantly scanning the room like this, shows that you're bored, and that shows that you're not really interested in what the other person has to say. And that is such a huge turn off, okay? And also remembering people's names. I struggle with this sometimes because I meet like a lot of new people every week, so it's hard for me to do it, but all right, it's an excuse. I should be better. I should be learning, remembering people's names more. But anyhow, remembering someone's name is also a quick cheat code on making you more likable. Other things, if you mirror the body image, so let's say someone's crossing their arm like this, you cross the arm to talk to them. Someone's playing their hair, you play with your hair if you're a girl. You don't have to strictly do it just for the sake of doing it, and it makes you actually feel robotic and authentic. You only have to do it like subtly or every now and then. Let's say they face the whole body towards you and you face the whole body towards them. Making jokes absolutely rocks. It absolutely slaps. It can be an entire video, it can be an entire chapter on its own because it's such an underrated method. Not taking yourself seriously, showing to other people that you're a humorous guy, you're a funny guy, signals a lot of things. That when crap goes down in the world, it's okay, you've got it, and you tend to see life on the bright side. That you're an optimistic person. Being a good listener definitely helps. I cannot tell you the number of times I've talked to patients. So I've been working as a nurse for a couple of years in many different fields, including mental health. And I lost count of the number of times a patient has told me that they have never ever told what they have said to me to anyone, not their family members, not their closest friends, not even the doctors, because I'm such a good listener. Okay, this may sound like, I'm bragging, but it's true. When you are a good listener, in fact, if you forget every single thing about this video, and if you just take one thing home, is this: I want you to be a good listener. So what's a good listener? Someone says, hey, I'm having trouble with my girlfriend. You don't immediately jump and offer some sort of advice, but instead you ask for some questions, you parrot what they've said back, you validate the feelings, their emotions, and then you only offer advice when they ask you, or when you definitely feel that it is a necessity. It's a necessary thing to do. Showing your hands. So another thing nervous people do is they would put the hands behind the back, or they would put the hands down like that, like that. You're not showing your hands, and from the times of cavemen, we're wired to see hands as a gesture of safety. When you can see the other person has nothing in their hands, they have no weapons. Okay, it sounds kind of dark, but it's a fact. So if people can see your hands, and if you can take up space, be the Italian that you're meant to be, then that's a good way of doing it. The next one is nice, genuine compliments. I've been working really hard in the gym, and the other day a good friend of mine said, I've got nice guns, and it made my week. If you're watching this, thank you, man. And the final tip I can give you on being charismatic or perceived likable is do not take up the conversation. Do not make yourself the focus of the group if you're in group conversations. I know people that just talks about them, so just yaps, certified yappers, yaps on and on and on and on and on. Oh my God, it is so annoying. It just becomes so insufferable when you talk to someone like that. They could be the most amazing person in the entire world. They could be the most charismatic. They could be the most likable person that they think. They could be, they could be really smart. They could be really attractive. But if they just take up space for themselves and talk about themselves, it is such a huge turn off when it comes to friendships and relationships. Okay? This does not mean you have to be a walking doormat and let other people talk over you. No. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean you cannot, offer your opinions or advice. It just means suss out the vibes and try not to make the entire conversation the focal point. You as the focal point, the main focus of the conversation. It's different when you're sharing something and when you're asking for advice. Of course, context absolutely matter. But don't just Don't just expect people to be friends with you, because every single time you only talk about yourself and you don't ask anyone any question. Don't do that. Another easy way, if you are an introvert, if you're a socially awkward, severely anxious, introverted person, is use the one more sentence technique. Just say one more thing than you normally would be, okay? Let's say you're in an elevator, you're going up, you're going down, you look at the other person, and you can just say, hey, hope you have a nice day, or see you later. Or if you are talking to anyone about traveling, you can just say, oh, cool, which countries have you traveled before? And they say, oh, France. Oh, why France? As an example, just add one more sentence to what you normally would have ended the conversation with. I learned this from having thousands of conversations with people where they end up in a really awkward situation. So they ask me, oh, what are you reading at the moment? Oh, I'm reading this book called, what did I read? Okay, I've just finished reading His Dark Materials. Yeah. All right, see you later. Don't be like that. Conversations are another art. Conversations are an art, and they can be their own video. So I'm gonna make a video on that in the future in this style. Fellow introverts, at some point you have to bite the bullet, you have to take the risk, and you have to ask deeper questions that connect you with the other person, even if it means rejection or uncomfortable feelings. I beg you, you cannot get closer to anybody if you are only focusing on surface level questions, on the weather, on the footy, on the soccer, on travels, without diving deeper into your dreams, your goals. What are you afraid of? What do you really want to do? You may not like the answer to some of these questions, and that's okay. Not every conversation has to be good. You know, not every conversation has to be sunshine and rainbows. And in fact, sometimes you need to have tough conversations in order to have an easy friendship. So it's like, do hard things to have an easy life, or do easy things to have a hard life. It's something similar to that. How do you do that? You start by being vulnerable. Almost all the closest friendships I've had are when both of us try to move the friendship-o-meter from this direction, right? From this direction to that direction. So, oh gosh, that's such a terrible arrow. Sorry about my drawing skills. So this one starts with weather, or sports, and this one goes down to their life goals. What do they really want to do before they die? What are they scared of? What's the one thing that keeps them awake at night? Not everything has to turn into a therapy session, but the point is you can't remain on superficial conversations, superficial layers for long if you want to really form close relationships. Be polarizing. Be as polarizing as possible. Again, there is nothing more isolating and nothing more lonely than being surrounded by hundreds and thousands of people in a room. There is no worse feeling than feeling lonely, feeling alone in a room full of people. Okay? Same thing applies to friendships. What is the point of not showing your true self? No matter how weird or how ugly it is, how awkward it is, what is the point if you're just going to put up that fake facade where nobody knows the real you, and people can't peek into that deep abyss, that deep chasm. Okay, they can't get into your shoe. They can't see from your point of view. Okay. Let's say if you're a weirdo who likes listening to some obscure podcast, say it. Say it. If someone doesn't like it, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You should just tell them, all right, that's it, fair enough. I like listening to this podcast. You don't, that's okay. Doesn't mean we can't be friends anymore, right? It just means we have different tastes, right? Worst case scenario, you lose a friend. Best case scenario, both of you might end up finding out that you actually are into the same thing, and you can get to discuss a lot of things from the podcast, and then you learn and grow together. At the end of the day, it is all about reps. If you follow the techniques I've given you, if you do the right things, then it's just a matter of time before you start having friend groups and friendships, and you start filling your social calendar circle every single week. It is possible. Again, I used to think that I was hopeless, that I was unsavable, I could not have any friends. But after going on this journey on my own, I realized that it's just a skill set, and it is one that pays massively, that pays in dividends if you know how to use it. I've made a video on how to build a social circle anywhere in the world, so you can check that out. So this talks about a couple of things that I've glossed over in this video. Okay, so what do you do after you meet people in clubs and communities? You start inviting them to do things outside of the clubs, outside of the communities. You can invite them to movies, you can invite them to lunches, brunches, snacks. Some people like festivals. If you're an introvert, it might be a bit harder to do festivals, but okay, I'm a huge nerd and I've invited people to medieval fairs and I've built some close friendships that way, so that works, okay? If they say no, that's fine. Go there alone, okay? I'll find some friends who are happy to go there with you. Because when you embark on this journey of making friends and putting yourself out there, you're putting your real self out there, you're finding your own weird tribe of people, okay? You're not trying to appeal to everyone. And it may feel like you're begging for friendship, you're begging for attention, like spare change, spare some friends, spare some attention. It sucks, but there is no other way. If you're not special, right? I'm not special. You know, I don't have like looks of a model. I'm not the smartest person. I'm not even the smartest Asian in the world. No, I'm not the most charismatic guy in the world. That's okay. You just need to follow the right steps. And in this process, you will end up getting rejected over and over again. There will be people who you want to be friends with that don't want to be friends with you, and that is absolutely fine. You don't want to be stuck with someone who doesn't want to or like you or want to hang around with you, okay? Like I said before, you're filtering people out and you're rejecting them as much as they're rejecting you. You're trying to find your own tribe of people. And rejection sucks. Like, it sucks. It's like getting punched in the heart. You know, it's like that meme where there's a little ball that's trying to come out of its comfort zone cage, and then got pounded, and the ball's like, oh, never again. Don't do that. That used to be me. You'll have plenty of experiences which may not be favorable, which may suck. You may be rejected, but that's fine. You just have to keep doing it over and over again. And you know, like the magical thing is, the amazing thing is, it doesn't take a lot to make friends. If you are an outgoing person, if you smile at people, if you are a good listener, and if you have some interesting hobbies, now people will naturally want to gravitate towards you. Okay, so there is a quote that I really like. It's from Noah Kagan, the author of $1 Million Weekend. He said, the only thing that's stopping you from getting what you want are the fear of starting and the fear of asking. Most people don't start, and most people don't ask. Okay, so most people go, oh, why should I do that? Why should I, what's the point? Or I'm not this person, I'm not an extrovert, I'm not a people person, I hate people. I hated people too. I hated people with a bloody passion. I just wanted to play my Nintendo DS. Well, I'll show you. No, it's not a Nintendo DS, it's a 3DS, but you get the point. I just want to play my 3DS I just wanted to play my DS in peace. I didn't want to talk to anyone until I decided to open my heart a little bit and give the world a chance. And that was the best thing I did, because I met so many amazing people, so many incredible people, so many close relationships that I formed, and I'm having the time of my life. So go and do it. Make this your 2026 resolution or goal. Another thing I want to tell you is don't neglect your current relationships as well, okay? And invest in your relationships. Don't be the type of person who dips their friends when you no longer are interested. And like what I'm trying to say is, don't have a shiny object syndrome. Let's say you've been friends with someone for a while and then you see someone you're more interested in. Don't go to them and then say like, and then be like, okay, I don't want to be friends with you anymore, you're not as interesting. Okay. You never know what happens when you invest in your current relationships. There was a friend of mine who we hadn't spoken to after high school, and then he messaged me randomly out of nowhere. Like, he wished me a happy birthday. And then using the one more sentence trick, we agreed to hang out. And now I'm proud to call him as one of my closest friends. He knows what I feel, I know what he feels. We've gone through so much stuff, and we've gone through back and forth discussions. He's a great friend to have. The point is, you need to invest in your current relationships. You need to, it's like when you're in a relationship or when you're married, you have to, you cannot absolutely stop dating. You cannot take things for granted. You still have to do nice things. You still have to give them gifts on birthdays if you're a gifting person. Or if you have nothing to give, which is not true, like you have a lot to offer, let's say even if you have nothing to offer, you can offer someone your time and energy. And that is more than what that is more than what millions of people can ask for. Okay. So a lot of people are lonely nowadays and they don't even reach out to the old friends. And then they complain, oh, I can't make friends. No, you can make friends. You've got friends. You just haven't been taught the right skills, or you just don't know. And that's okay. If you follow the steps in this video, it will jumpstart your social life. So as a challenge, go and reach out to someone you haven't spoken to in a while. Go text them, okay? You can blame me. You can use this video and say, hey, I watched this weird, bizarre video on the YouTube on making friends, and I just wanted to see if you want to discuss this, if you want to grab a coffee someday, do it. I want to end this presentation, this ultimate guide, by talking about these two books. So I know if you are neurodivergent, if you're autistic, it's like if you're on the spectrum, you may have difficulty reading facial expressions, knowing what people think. And the unfortunate fact of the matter is that a lot of the human world or relationships are built on reading cues, expressions, and nonverbal behaviors. And if you cannot do that, you are missing out. In an ideal world, you will not have to mask anything. In an ideal world, you can just be yourself. But unfortunately, you will have to get better. And it sucks. It absolutely sucks. But you have to get better, and you have to get good at reading expressions, or at the very least, understand what they mean. So 2 books that can be absolutely helpful: What Everybody's Saying by Joe Navarro, and Captivate by Vanessa Van Edwards. They'll tell you everything you need to know about facial expressions. So they can explain things like, oh, you know, why do we narrow our eyes? Like, why do we close down our eyes like this when we are talking to someone we don't like? The reason is because we're trying to let less light and less vision into our eyes. It's like subconsciously telling to ourselves, go away, I don't like you, I don't want to see you, or I don't like what you're talking about, that's why we go this way. It's like, say what? Okay? Read these books. They'll absolutely change your game on reading facial expressions. And now, yeah, they're like a secret superpower, you know? As an introvert, you gotta do everything you can in your power to level the playing field. Now, What most people are going to do after watching this video is they're going to go back on doom scrolling. Do not be that person, okay? You click this video on 2 a.m. in the morning because you have a strong feeling inside you that something is wrong and you want to change your life. So go and do it. Make 2026 your best year. Start by focusing on yourself. Start by providing yourself with so much abundance, so much self-love and self-care. Build up your self-worth, that you're worth it, you're worthy of nice things, good things happening. And then you can start giving out, you can start gifting, you can start being generous with that gift of abundance with other people. Okay? So now, go and do something that scares you today.